Good evening, welcome to Wynberg St. John's, the next in our series of the 12th Man series. Really good to have you as we celebrate 30 years of the club, and of course to do that we need people who've been here for that length of time. Tonight of course we talk to Hannes van Staden and have a couple of questions for him, his experiences of the club, his stories that he can tell us. What's some of your early memories of this club?
Okay, well, in 1960 I came here to join as under 12-year-old to the old Wynberg club, soccer club, and I played under 12. Thereafter I left here in 1965 to go play at municipals and all the other sports, other clubs. And then eventually I came back here in 1976.
And what brought you back?
It wasn't too involved then with the soccer until the amalgamation came about in 1991. I thought it was 1990, but anyway, I came back here. And then from there onward it just prospered, and then I became on the committee, and I stayed in talk as today that you see.
So I mean, if I said to you, if you can give us a number, how long do you think you've been involved with Wynberg St. John's?
Close to 40, 45 years.
I mean, that's a serious commitment to a football club.
Well, we love the sport, you know. The problem was when we went to school, and I'm talking about Wynberg boys, there was a big problem, and that is why we've lost a lot of the juniors there at that time, because of, we had a teacher there that wanted to just have the rugby to be played there. We weren't allowed to play soccer. It was total, you know, a no-go for us. So basically, that was it. And that's why I think with the amalgamation, it was a good. It was all, yeah.
And in terms of the kind of experience, I mean, I'm trying to get a sense of, was it only about the football? Was it only about playing football? You know, you hinted at the fact that you had friends here, so obviously there was a social aspect to it as well. I mean, what was it that brought you here in the first place? What was it that brought you back, you know, until now?
Well, as you just said, yeah, it's basically sort of friends and that afterwards, you know, when you get a bit older, you have your little Wednesday night training on the spear of the sea fields, and you have your good drink afterwards, after the game and all that lot, you know.
Yeah, so those are important, those drinks. Yeah. And what positions did you hold? I mean, you obviously felt that you wanted to give back to the club more than just, you know, coming to run around on the park. So I mean, what positions did you hold inside the club?
Well, besides the soccer, I became the chairman of the main mother body, yeah.
And in terms of, you know, I think that what we're finding these days is that we sometimes struggle to pull the youngsters up through the ranks. They come to play football, and when they get to a certain level, they'll maybe leave to go and play at school, or they'll do something else. You know, what has been your, I suppose, observation, but what has been your experience of the players who come to this particular club?
I think they came here out of good. This club has prospered well. I think it's one of the best clubs that I've ever seen for a long, long time. I mean, I've been around the other clubs, and the way that if I look at the youngsters, and I'm talking about the little under 5s to under 8. That is my dream in my world, that I believe the youngsters is our core today. We have to look at kids, and they are the main things that makes life so wonderful. I
mean, if you think about it, to have a big group of juniors can only be good for the club, you know, going forward.
Yes.
I want to take you back. You were saying, obviously, you've been here since 91, since amalgamation. You've been here before then as well. 45 years is the kind of number we're estimating. And so there must be some experiences, there must be some individuals, there must be some moments that stand out for you.
Oh, they all do, but yes, you know, I think the best time was when We won the Virginia Cup. I think that was the biggest time of it. That was, yeah, you know, and that was my biggest moment that I can think of.
And the time, you know, at amalgamation, when Wynberg and when St. John's merged.
Yes.
You know, there's been talk about the fact that there was a lot of, let's call it, opposition to the amalgamation. There was even a hope at one stage that the amalgamation wouldn't work. You know, what was your experiences, particularly at that time? You know, here we sit 30 years later going, we pat ourselves on the back and go, look at us, we're 30 years old. But it almost didn't get to be 30 years old because of the fact that at the time of amalgamation, there was a lot of people who were sort of talking in another direction completely.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were probably, as you want to say, it, anti, but I think that all the negative showed them positive. There was a lot of people here that said we will go ahead, and that is how the whole thing came about, you know what I mean? There were the guys that would say, no, don't do the amalgamation, and I think that is where the whole thing came about. At the end of the day, I think it was the best thing that's ever happened here to everybody.
And just before I let you go, I mean, maybe you want to give me a sense of, I mean, I think I can guess the answer, but I mean, here we sit now, in your case 45 years, but I mean certainly 30 years of this particular club, and you've played not an insignificant role in that. I mean, how does that make you feel? You know, do you allow yourself to feel pride? I mean, how do you react to the fact that this club sits here 30 years and getting only stronger?
That's you know, I still think it is one of the best, yeah, and I love the club what it is for, you know what I'm saying? I've always believed in. My main interest is the youngsters. I believe they are your pride and joy of this club, this is youngsters.